Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and we're going to do a video live stream here about Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum has the SEC decision coming up on May 23rd. And right now, there's a little bit of doubt as to whether or not Ethereum will actually see that happen in the future. Um, and we'll also talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin halving. I know some of you guys are wondering, what's going to happen to the Bitcoin price. Uh, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Um, we'll look at the charts later on in the stream here to figure out, what has Bitcoin done in the past halvings and what could we, try to expect from Bitcoin having um, Bitcoin having an actual halving. What would that actually do? Okay. But I want to go into this article here quick. We're going to do Ethereum here first. You can see that this is an article here from coindesk.com talking about Ethereum. Okay. And they're saying, are ETH ETFs coming? Okay. What are the odds of approval in May? A couple of analysts, one by the name of David Lawan and another one, Purvi Maniar, they're saying that an ETF approval is likely within the next 12 to 18 months. We're supposed to be getting a decision from the SEC next month, May 23rd. But we'll go into this article to see what their thoughts are about the Ethereum ETF. Okay, they're saying here in this article that after the successful launches of the spot Bitcoin ETF in the U.S., the next question is whether Ethereum ETF will be approved with a May SEC decision looming. That would be May 23rd of 2024. They're saying in this article here that whether to approve or not to approve, they're going to get into the point and the counterpoint perspectives on these Ethereum decision. And I've read this article before, but I want to read it to you guys here so you guys can have a better understanding, because they did a pretty good job of breaking it down. It's like why Ethereum might get approved or why it might not, and why we should be worried and why we shouldn't be worried about it. Okay. So anyways, just going in here, I'm just going to read it word for word. Okay. So just bear with me. The notable theme in the ongoing bull market is Ethereum's underperformance, which has deepened over the past few weeks due to increasing skepticism about the odds of the spot Bitcoin ETF decision. So Ethereum was at like $4,000 back in March, about a month ago, and here we are in April, and Ethereum is only at like $3,200. Some people are saying that is because they're not expecting Ethereum to get approved, and that's the reason why the price of Ethereum has gone down. Not taking account that the price of Bitcoin has also gone down, and some of these other cryptocurrencies have had a rough month. So it's not just Ethereum, but they are wondering, if Ethereum had so much good news coming for it with the ETF in May, why is that not causing the price to go up? I think these cryptocurrencies are going to do whatever they decide to do, but that is a valid point. You would think that with Ethereum getting an ETF just like Bitcoin, that it should go up in price, but it has gone up in price along with Bitcoin and the others. Okay, so I mean, we can't. I mean, how greedy can we be? Okay, but I'll just continue on in this article. They're saying that as late as February of 2024, the market was anticipating a green light from the SEC on May 23rd, following the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals that were made in January of 2024. This view has been turning sour over the past few weeks, to the point that the current prevailing view is a denial by the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission. Yeah. I want to skip over that part about the Bitcoin, Bitcoin Ethereum chart. But they're saying here that the spot Ethereum ETFs will remain a topic of conversation for the markets as we get closer to May 23rd. That's why I wanted to get into this with you guys today, because we just had Bitcoin happening, but the next thing that's going to be big in the crypto markets is Ethereum going to get the ETF on May 23rd? Okay. So here's the case for denial. Here's why some people are getting worried. They're saying that over the past few weeks that the market has been trending toward expecting the SEC not to approve a spot ETF at the end of May. And the line of argument hinges on a few points. First, there's virtually no engagement between the SEC and issuers less than 2 months from the deadline. This contrast is between what happened with Bitcoin, where there was a little bit of back and forth between BlackRock and some of the other Bitcoin ETFs, where they were trying to figure out what would you like us to do before we launched the ETFs, and the SEC was giving their comments and telling them, hey, I think you guys should do this, don't do that. We want you to do this, you're not allowed to do that. There's none of that going on right now with with BlackRock and some of these other investment banks. They're not getting any word or guidance from the SEC about Ethereum ETFs. So that's has some people wondering, well, if they're not talking, then that probably means it's not going to happen, right? But it doesn't always have to be like that for every single ETF that comes out. Okay. So they go on and say that contrary to what some have argued with the recent public call for comments, because the SEC did say, oh, well, we would like to get some word from the public, regular people out there, as to whether they think, an ETF is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And that's something that they do a public call for comment for every single ETF out there. So some of the skeptics are saying, well, that's not really, the SEC showing interest. They have to do that. They have to do a public call for comments. So that shouldn't be construed as engagement from the regulator, from the SEC. So the skeptics are saying, well, the SEC has to do that. They have to ask for people's opinions. That doesn't mean that they're actually going to approve the ETF. Okay. It goes on in this article saying that another critical factor is the view that the SEC, they approved the spot Bitcoin ETF, but they only did it begrudgingly. They weren't really, enthusiastic about doing a Bitcoin ETF. They actually did not want to do a Bitcoin ETF, but somehow they felt like they had to because they got sued. And they felt like they were obligated to do it, or they're going to get sued again. Also, the use cases that Ethereum currently enables, such as like decentralized finance, they make the review process for the SEC a little bit more complex. Okay, so and then there's also staking too. Okay, what do you do with staking? So this has caused some people to be skeptical about whether or not there's going to be an Ethereum exchange traded fund, an Ethereum ETF. So yeah. However, there are some arguments for why it would get approved. Okay. And they're saying that here that some investors and analysts are making persuasive arguments against the mainstream narrative of denial, even if they are not necessarily calling for a May approval. Grayscale's chief legal officer suggested that the absence of engagement does not necessarily predict the outcome. Okay. Contrary to the Bitcoin spot ETF approval process, there isn't really much to be discussed right now. Most of the back and forth between the Bitcoin ETF issuers and the SEC was around the redemption mechanism, whether it's going to be cash versus in kind, which they've already settled. They decided that everything's going to be settled in cash and not in kind. And the one area where there is a room for discussion would be whether the SEC would allow staking of Ethereum. Okay. Despite the push by some issuers, the broad view is that staking is unlikely to be allowed initially. That a straightforward issue that the SEC can resolve at a potential rule change approval or later on when it reviews the S1 and the S3 forms before launch. In addition, a denial will likely be met with litigation from the applicants. They're most likely going to get sued if they don't. The SEC is going to get sued by BlackRock and ARK and all the other, Bitwise and Fidelity. They're going to get sued by these companies if they don't actually say yes to them. Right? They're going to want to know, why did you deny us? And then they're going to want to make those arguments in court. Okay. So that gives us reason to believe that the SEC is probably going to say yes to an Ethereum ETF, and it's probably going to be by the skin of the teeth, because when they made the approval for the Bitcoin ETF, there was only there was five people on the board, and they only got 3 people to vote yes for the Bitcoin ETF. Gary Gensler, which was the guy that you might have saw in my thumbnail for the video. Gary Gensler was the guy. He's the chairman of the SEC, and he was the one that gave the deciding winning vote that there's going to be a Bitcoin ETF. And if we have an Ethereum ETF, it's probably going to be, and we get approved for it, it's probably going to be the same thing. Gary Gensler is going to have to probably be the guy that says, I think we should have an Ethereum ETF. And it's going to be won by a margin of 3 to 2. Okay. There's 5 SEC chairmen. I mean, not SEC chairman. There's 5 board members on the SEC, and they need a majority vote, and it's probably going to be just 3 people versus 2 saying yes versus no. Okay, so that's what we have to look forward here. And yeah, that's what this article is saying here, is that there was two of the 5 SEC chairmen voted in favor, and then 2 voted against, and then Chairman Gary Gensler was the one that tipped the scale that allowed the Bitcoin ETF to get approved in the first place. The same thing is probably going to happen again if they do an Ethereum ETF, okay, here in the United States. But I say here in the United States because another reason why we should be getting an Ethereum ETF is because China, Hong Kong, has already done an Ethereum ETF. Okay, they did it last week. I have another news article here that I want to show you guys. And this is coming from CNBC. Okay, and CNBC is saying that Hong Kong has approved the launch of a spot Bitcoin and a spot Ethereum ETF, and they did it last Monday. Okay, they did this Ethereum ETF last Monday. Okay, so that just causes more fire and more ammunition for for Fidelity and BlackRock. If the SEC does not approve the Ethereum ETF in May, then they're just going to say, well, look what's going on the other side of the world. We have China doing Ethereum ETFs. Why can't America do Ethereum ETF? Why are American investors not able to get exposure to Ethereum in an asset like an exchange traded fund, an ETF? Why do we have to go to China to get that kind of exposure? Why can't we do that here in America? Why is American investors and American companies suffering? Because why? Give us the reason why. Okay, so they're gonna have to have a good reason if they do say no to the Ethereum ETF. And the fact that China's doing it and Hong Kong, it just tips the scale in favor of the people who think that it will get approved, that it most likely will get approved in May. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about as far as Ethereum goes. Okay, but I know some of you guys are wondering about Bitcoin. Okay, and why Bitcoin price hasn't skyrocketed up to higher prices. And I just want to show you guys here for some context, the Bitcoin halving and when that has happened. And you guys will see, I have to go this way on this side of the screen here. You guys can see that the Bitcoin halving dates here are like November 28th, 2012. That was the first halving. Then there was a second halving in July 9th of 2016. And then there was a third one in May 11th, 2020. And we just had the fourth halving on April 20th of 2024. Okay. So now that you guys know what the dates are, you guys can like maybe write this down on a piece of paper and pencil in. But I'm going to show you guys here on the chart, okay, what happened to the price of Bitcoin after these dates happened, okay? So it gives you an idea as like what we could expect with the price of Bitcoin going forward as the days and weeks and months go by, okay? So the first date, November 28th, 2012. Okay. I'm going to show you guys here on TradingView what that looks like. Okay. So here is TradingView. I'm getting this data off of Bitstamp exchange because that was like one of the only cryptocurrency exchanges that was around during 2012. Okay. So they actually have some data here for us to look at. And we're looking at November. So like down here, you can see the dates. You got September, October, November. Okay. Here we are in November. And this says what? November 28th, 2012. Okay. So here we are, November 28th, 2012. The price of Bitcoin. Oh, the price of Bitcoin was only like $12 a coin. $12 or $13 a coin. Okay. And that's what the price was on November 28th, 2012 on the first halving. Okay. And then going into December, the price was only about $13. So it wasn't really doing much. It was going sideways for about a month. But then we get into January, okay, which is only 2 months after the first halving. And look what Bitcoin decided to do. I have to like zoom out now because here we are, Bitcoin at $25 in like February of 2013, okay? And then we have to climb back up. And now here it is. The price of Bitcoin is skyrocketing. Okay. And this is only 2 months after the first halving. Okay. The price of Bitcoin skyrocketing up to like $100 after it was only like what, $13 in November. Okay. So like 2 months later, 3 months later, it's skyrocketing to like $100. March of 2013, we're at like $100 Bitcoin. Okay. Some of you OGs out there, you might have actually seen some of this. I actually was not in Bitcoin at this time. I wish I was, because who knows where I would be if I had bought Bitcoin at that time. Okay, but yeah, Bitcoin got up to about April 10th. Right before tax day, on April 10th, 2013. It got as high as about $259. Like 5 months. I mean, 5 months ago, it was only like $13 during the halving. The first halving was like $11, $12, $13. It went up to like $259 5 months later. Okay. And then it had a steep drop, probably because, it had a big drop around tax day, probably because of people had to pay their taxes after they made so much, a shit ton of money on Bitcoin. Okay, they had to sell some of their Bitcoin to pay their taxes. Okay. But yeah, price of Bitcoin went down and then traded sideways, and then it got a second like bull run going into like October of 2013. Okay. Bitcoin started shooting back up and it went as high as like almost, I believe, like $1,000. Yeah, $1,000 towards the end of 2013, like a year after 1 year after the first halving, like 12 months after the first halving, it went up from $13 to $1,000. Okay. It made people a shit ton of money only a year after the halving. Okay. So that's the first halving. Okay. But let's go into the second halving, which was around July 9th, 2016. So now we have to look through the Bitcoin's history here. Now we're going into what did I say? July 9th, 2016. So July 9th, 2016. What was Bitcoin doing? Okay. What price was Bitcoin trading at? And I'm looking at, I'm sorry, mouse is, got it. Yep. All right. July 9th, Bitcoin was about $660. Okay. $640, somewhere in that area. Okay. And it went sideways for like the month of July after that, towards the end of July. And then it got a big drop. Okay. Probably because people got a little disappointed, discouraged. They thought Bitcoin was going to go higher. But, you know, here we go. A couple of months, 3 months later, okay, after July. Now we're in what? October. And now Bitcoin's creeping up. And it's creeping up. And it's going higher. And it's going higher. And it's going higher than what it was all throughout that year. Okay. Now we're in December of 2016. And now here we are. We're creeping up more. Going up to like $1,000 Bitcoin again. When it was only at $600 in July. Okay. So now we have $1,000 Bitcoin. Okay. About like 6 months later. Okay. If you guys are paying attention, keeping track of the months here. And then, you know, let's just see what Bitcoin was doing 12 months after the halving. Okay. 12 months would be like July of 2017. And we have Bitcoin trading at about $2,000. Okay. Bitcoin was trading at $2,000. I think it got as high as like $2,800 in like June of 2017, which was like 11 months after the first halving. 11 months after the halving in 2016. So, you know, the price was only about $600 during the halving of 2016. But then 12 months later, it's at almost $3,000. You could have 5x your money in 1 year with Bitcoin. But it just kept going higher. It just kept going higher and higher and higher until we got up to like $19,000 here on Bitcoin in December of 2017. And that is why people like to talk about Bitcoin and what it could do after the halving here, guys. Okay. Because Bitcoin, it can go skyrocket and it goes higher, but it's not going to do it right away. It takes time, guys. It takes time, probably about like, give it like 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, we're going to probably be talking about all-time highs on Bitcoin again. Okay. Now is the time to be buying as much cheap Bitcoin as you possibly can. I'm all in on my cryptocurrency investments, guys. If I can get more cash, I would be putting it into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have more cash, you should be buying Bitcoin right now, knowing that it's going to be at a higher price later on this year. Probably around like October of this year, it will definitely be doing some pretty big, spectacular things, because that's about roughly 6 months from now. So that's when it should be at higher prices. So yeah, that's the halving for 2016. And I'll just go, you know, just for one more use case, we'll go and show what the third halving was like. And that was in May 11th of 2020. Okay. So yeah, we'll zoom in on the chart here. We'll see what Bitcoin was doing in May of 2020. Okay. And you guys know that as the year that coronavirus came out. And that's, if you look at the chart here, you'll see, you know, February, March of 2020, Bitcoin was chilling at like $9,000. And then we had the coronavirus dump. Okay. And that brought Bitcoin all the way down to like $3,800 March 13th of 2020. And then Bitcoin slowly crept up from there and got up to higher prices. And then here we are, May 11th of 2020. Bitcoin is now at $8,700. Okay. $8,700. And what did it do going into June of 2020? Bitcoin was at $9,000, almost $10,000. Okay. So it was going sideways and up from where it was in May of 2020 during that halving time. And then it didn't really do much. I mean, it actually went up again in like July. It went up to like $11,000. Okay. So, some positive price action. Came back down again in September of 2020. We had like a little scare on something. I think it had to do something with interest rates or something like that. The Federal Reserve was thinking about raising interest rates, and that causes a decrease in liquidity out there in the markets. So that caused Bitcoin to go down a little bit. But then it wasn't until October of 2020 when we got the sick, ridiculous, exponential increase in price going into November and December of 2020. Now here we are in December of 2020. We're past the all-time high that we made back in like 2017. Now you have Bitcoin trading at like $26,000 when like 6 months ago it was only at like $9,000 during the halving. Okay, so people tripled their money by that point. But then Bitcoin just kept going and it kept going and it went to higher prices. And then like around like April of 2021, which was like almost like 11 months after the halving, you see Bitcoin trading at like 60 grand, $63,000, $64,000. Okay, when it was only at like $9,000 during the halving. Yes, a 7x. You could have 7x your money if you timed it correctly. And Bitcoin did go down during the summer of 2021. Okay. People were starting to lose faith in Bitcoin, but then it climbed back up again. And it went up to another all-time high of $69,000 in November of 2021, which was let's see, May of 2020. That's about 18 months later. Bitcoin's at like $69,000, with sick, ridiculous gains for Bitcoin investors and crypto investors as well. Every single cryptocurrency was at a new all-time high around like November or December of 2021. Okay. And that just gives you an idea as to like, these things, they take time. It's going to take some time for Bitcoin to get up to new higher prices, but it most likely happens, as we've seen it happen over the last 15 years that Bitcoin's been on this planet. Bitcoin does go up to higher prices. You just got some faith, guys. You got some patience, and a little bit of faith, and just knowing that, okay, prices haven't gone up yet. Let me buy some more Bitcoin if I can, because it will probably be going up 6 months from now, and definitely it will be higher than what it is right now a year from now. So you just got to give it some time, guys. Okay, it doesn't happen right away, but it normally does happen, as we've seen in prior cycles with Bitcoin. I see we have somebody in the chat here. If you want to say hi, introduce yourself. Let me know what kind of cryptocurrency you want me to talk about, because like now I'm ready to take some questions and see what other cryptocurrencies we can talk about here. I probably want to talk about, if I don't get any requests here, I'm going to want to talk about Solana and see how Solana's doing. And then we'll probably talk about AVAX after that too, see how AVAX is doing. But yeah, if you guys have some other cryptocurrencies you want to talk about, yeah, go ahead and write that in the comments section. Go ahead and put that in the chat here, what you guys want me to talk about for a cryptocurrency here. Or if you have any questions about any of these cryptocurrencies. I got to get a drink here. Ice cold water. Yeah, so let's move on to Solana. Okay, let's see how Solana did over the past weekend here. Let's see, Solana. Okay, so Solana took a beating in cryptocurrency world here. Let me just get rid of this chart here. Yeah, Solana got as high as about like $209 on March of 2024, March 18th, 2024. Made a second lower high, which wasn't really good for us to do. It got as high as like $204 on Monday, April 1st, 2024. And then it dropped down below the 20-day moving average, and then dropped down below the 50-day moving average, and then it finally got some support here at the 100-day moving average. Okay. And that was mainly because of the situation going on in the Middle East caused prices to go down. The stock market went down, Bitcoin went down, and so did Solana. Okay. And I was trying to tell people in some of my YouTube short videos, okay, that I think now that was a good time to be buying some Solana because we were getting some support. You know, the 100-day moving average was like $130.97, $131. Those were some good areas to be buying Solana, okay? And you could have put your stop loss on Solana basically right here at like the 120 level, or even like the $130 level, where the 100-day moving average is. And right now, Solana is trying to get back up to higher prices. Currently, Solana is trading at $157.40 here on the Coinbase exchange. Okay. What we need to see to get more positive results here, we need to see Solana try to get back above this blue and green line. The blue line being the 20-day moving average. We need Solana to get above that, and we also need Solana to get above the green moving average here. That green line is the 50-day moving average. I'm expecting that when Solana does get up to that line, the green line, which is the 50-day moving average at $167.12, I'm expecting Solana to like bump its head up against there and probably go back down again and to make another basically a higher low, okay, before we start going back up to higher prices on Solana. And I think Solana could get up to like, $180 or $200 probably sometime in May of 2024. Okay, we had a bad month for cryptocurrencies and basically all assets out there during April. And I just think we need to recover and get above. First, we need to get above up to like $167. Okay, but then once we get up to $167, then we could try to go for like $180 on Solana. Okay, which is where traders were basically buying and selling. There's a lot of sideways trading action in this area. So I think Solana will try to basically get back at $180 before it wants to try to do $200 again. Okay. And I think, you could buy Solana here at $157, knowing that it could possibly go up to $200 probably within the next month. Okay. But, after $200, then, the next area would be looking at this Fibonacci retracement chart right here. If Solana get past $206, then it would then have to finally make its way back up to the all-time high of $260, which it did back in November 2021, when every single cryptocurrency was going bonkers and at all-time highs, because Bitcoin itself was at its all-time high in November of 2021. So that's what we need to see with Solana. But yeah, I think, this is still positive. You can look at the moving averages, and we're getting support, like I said, on that 100-day moving average, the yellow line. You can see that the RSI levels here have cooled down. We were overheated back in March of 2024 with like RSI levels of 86. But like now the RSI level is currently at like 49. So we have some room to run if Solana decides to go for a run on its price. Okay. But let's see. I said what we can talk about Avalanche. Okay. AVAX. Let's see how AVAX is done. Probably not as good as Solana. Last time I've seen AVAX, it looked like it took a bigger beat down. on its price. Okay. And yeah. Let me just get rid of this here. Okay. And you'll see here on the avalanche chart here that AVAX, okay, got up to a high price here, about like $67, I believe, in on March. It was actually $65 March 18th of 2024. Okay, and that was the high watermark for that. And then AVAX just had a bad month in April, just like all the other cryptocurrencies, because of all the tension in the Middle East, just bringing everything down. People a little bit scared. They don't know what's going to happen next. Is it going to be World War III? That kind of stuff. But there wasn't. Okay, but because of all that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or what we call FUD, okay, because of all that FUD, it brought the price of Avalanche all the way down to like $29.38, which is kind of interesting because here on the daily chart, the last time AVAX was like down that low was like January 23rd of 2024 when it was $27.21. So technically, AVAX made a higher low here in April 13th, okay, of 2024. A higher low compared to that low, but actually the last recent higher low was actually right here back in March 5th of 2024. So actually AVAX made a lower low, okay, compared to its most recent low that it made back in March 5th of 2024. So that's not good. That's actually considered bad, ugly. It's not good. Okay. And the other thing that makes this a little bit scary to look at with Avalanche and AVAX is that AVAX actually blew right through the 20-day moving average here. It blew through the 50-day moving average, the green line, and then it blew right through the 100-day moving average where we thought it was going to get some support. Okay. It blew right through that yellow line. Okay. And I mean, I could try seeing like it should have got support at the $27, $29 level, which it ended up doing because that was the one of the lowest lows that it made back in January. But like, let me just see, guys, here. I'm going to add another indicator here. I think we actually hit the 200-day moving average on AVAX, okay? And I think that's where we ended up getting our support at. Let me just double check here. I'm going to have to add this indicator in here to see if that is what we got. And I'll make that one red so we can know what it looks like. But yeah, it looks like AVAX actually, not only did AVAX just cut right through the 20-day, the 50-day, the 100-day, it also blew right through the 200-day moving average on April 13th. That was a really, really bad day for AVAX, guys. Okay. The 200-day was at $31.96, and AVAX went all the way down to like $29.38. Okay. Before it started climbing back up again. But you can see that 200-day moving average, which is that red line, it is creeping up. Okay. And the price action on AVAX was getting support and pretty much hugging the 200-day moving average here. Okay. We need to see, Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies start going up in price, and AVAX will follow suit and try to go up to higher prices as well. If Bitcoin can sustain itself and go to higher prices, we need Bitcoin to go up first, guys. That's how this normally goes. Bitcoin goes up first, then the rest of the cryptocurrencies, the rest of the altcoins, they go up as well in price. But if these cryptocurrencies continue what I would call a recovery rally, and they continue going up, we need to see AVAX, okay, get up to the 100-day moving average at a $42 level, which it pretty much is kind of close to that already. It's trading at $39.25 right now as I speak. So we need AVAX to get up to $42. Okay. And when it gets up to $42, I expect it to like trade sideways, only because we have the 100-day, the yellow line there. The 100-day moving average is at $42. And then we also have some sideways trading action here, guys, as well, where previous traders and investors settled up at. So $42 is the next level that AVAX is going to probably go up to and try to recapture before we go up to higher prices from there. If AVAX is able to continue going higher than that, then I see some more sideways trading action here near $47, which is also where the 50-day moving average is at, the green line. So we need to see AVAX get up to that level, okay, before we can then see AVAX go to higher prices where, we might see AVAX get up to like $55 or even $60, which it did back in March of 2024, only a month ago. Okay. So yeah, I just think, March was a good month. April, not so good. We need to recover. But going into May, I think that'll be a better month for AVAX as we continue recovering from these severely oversold conditions that we were in back in earlier April of 2024. Okay. So yeah, that's the price chart for AVAX Avalanche. Guys, I need you guys to let me know what kind of cryptocurrency you want me to talk about next here. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that like button if you like what I've been able to give you guys as far as information. If you appreciate and value the knowledge that I'm able to give you guys here and the chart, the information that I'm able to show you guys here on the charts, please go ahead and click that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you can see me go live again and ask me questions and click the notification bell so you know when I will go live, because sometimes YouTube doesn't tell you guys when I will go live. So the notification bell button should help let you know when I will go live. You'll get like an email that tells you, hey, Meet Damien is live. Let's go. Let's go. Let's try to make some money or prevent ourselves from losing money. All right, let's try to see like one of the popular cryptocurrencies here that has like gone up so much over the past week. There's this cryptocurrency called Core. Okay, let's check out Core on the cryptocurrency chart and see why Core has done so well. Okay, and what it might be able to do next. Okay. So here we are looking at Core, guys. Core USD, Core Tether. I don't think you even buy this cryptocurrency on any of the American cryptocurrency exchanges. This is something that I think I'm getting this data off of OKX, is the cryptocurrency exchange where this is coming from. But it looks like Core had a really good month. Really good day back on the 1st of April. Got as high as about $4.19. The next day got as high as like $4.37, April 2nd. And then Core has gone down. It's going down to lower prices here. Got as low as about $1.17 on Friday, April 12th. And then April 13th, during the Middle East action, got as low as $1.20. Okay. So that wasn't good for Core investors. But you can see these moving averages, they come into play, especially after we go down to lower prices. And you can see that it looks like Core stayed above the 50-day moving average here. Okay. The green line 50-day moving average was about $1.23, and core pretty much stayed right in that area before it shot back up again on Monday, March 15th. It shot up. Oh my God, it went up 83% that day. Okay, it went up 83%. Got itself above the 20-day moving average, which is this blue line, and it tried to stay above that 20-day moving average, and then it went below the 20-day moving average, but now it looks like it's back up again above the 20-day moving average. So this right now is looking like the strongest cryptocurrency out there, to be honest with you, and it shows according to the numbers here. I'm looking at coinmarketcap.com. I'll take a look at that. I'll show you what I'm looking at right here. But core has been up 40% the past 7 days, the past week. Okay, one of the best cryptocurrencies out there, out of the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap. Now there might be another cryptocurrency that's doing better than core right now, but I'm talking about amongst the top 100 cryptocurrencies. You know, when you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shiba Inu, Solana, Avalanche, out of all those cryptocurrencies, Cardano, core, which is like the number 51 cryptocurrency out there by market cap, is up 40% in the last 7 days. So it's showing a lot of strength this week. Okay, the other cryptocurrencies that are doing pretty good as well. You got Bonk, okay, up 26% this past week, and then Arweave up 21.57%, and then you got Near Protocol up 20%, and then Say up 50%, and then some of you guys, of course, love Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is up 18.9% this past week. Okay, so yeah, those for core to be up 40% when everybody else is like suffering and not doing so well, and then to be the best out of all those, the ones that are doing well, I mean that speaks volumes about core. And if you guys don't know what core is, I'll just quickly go into the about section. Core is a layer 1 blockchain. It's built on the compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, the EVM, and it can run Ethereum smart contracts, and it has decentralized apps. Okay. It was launched back in January of 2023, and its blockchain is governed by a DAO, okay, a decentralized autonomous organization. And yeah, I mean, you guys can look up core, Google search it. Oh, I don't know what just happened there. I just lost that. But yeah, you guys can look up core, find out more about core. You can Google search it, go on coinmarketcap.com when it actually decides to work. But yeah, let me see. Let's try to take a look at Bonk. Okay, let's look at Bonk here, guys, because Bonk did pretty good over the past week. Let's see how that did on the trading view chart here. Okay, so we'll look up Bonk USD on Coinbase exchange. Okay, and Bonk is another meme coin. I think that is off of the Solana network, but you can buy and sell it on Coinbase right now. And this information here is the Coinbase chart that I'm looking at. And Bonk, had a good month in March, just like all the other cryptocurrencies. Got as high as 0.00002734. So we'll just say 2734 level. And right now, Bonk is trading at the 2021 level. Okay. There's really not that much data on Bonk because Bonk is a relatively new cryptocurrency. So some of these moving averages lines here, like the 100-day moving average, didn't start to show up on this chart until like March 22nd of 2024, because it hasn't been around that long. But you can use like the 20-day, which is the blue line, and the 50-day kind of gives us some information about Bonk. Okay. And yeah, so Bonk traded below the 20-day moving average back in like March 16th, and try to get back above it on March 28th. But then, the Middle East and everything else caused the price to go down and get suppressed. We bottomed them out right here near the 1500 level. Okay. And right now we're trying to recapture the 20-day and try to get above the 50-day moving average. I think, if Bonk can stay here at like where it's at right now at the 2000 level, then we could see Bonk go up to higher prices here and try to test the 2500 level, which is where the 50-day moving average is, that green line. And if it can stay above 2500, then the next level it's going to need to try to get above will be the 3000 level, where we have a lot of trading action going on over here, some sideways trading action. But if Bonk can get up to 3000 and stay at 3000, then the next area that I think Bonk will try to go up to and retest would be the 4500, 4600 level, where it was trading at back in March 13th of 2024. I'm sorry, no, March 5th, 2024. But there's really not much data I can go off of here for Bonk. Okay, it's a relatively new cryptocurrency, so sky's the limit. I mean, as far as how high it could go, we really don't know. We know that the lowest that it has gone was like the 1500 level. Okay, back in about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, in April of 2024. But Bonk, in order for Bonk to get more to higher prices, we have to see Bitcoin go up to higher prices. And Bitcoin, like I said earlier in this live stream, Bitcoin, it will go up to higher prices, but it's going to take some time. We have to be patient. It's probably going to go up to higher prices within 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months from now. So like July, it might actually be a pretty good summer for Bitcoin, or it might go sideways. I don't think it's going to go down though. And if it goes down, it'll be temporary, or it'll be because maybe World War III is going on. But I don't think Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies are going to go down, because they should be going up now that the Bitcoin supply is scarce. It's harder to mine a Bitcoin. So because it's harder to mine a Bitcoin, it's harder to sell a Bitcoin. The miners are not able to sell as much Bitcoin, which creates less selling pressure on Bitcoin, which is the reason why Bitcoin price will go up, because not that many people are selling it. Okay. Yeah. As long as people don't sell it, price should go up. It should go up, guys. And so will the price for the other altcoins as well. Okay. Like Bonk. Okay. As long as Bitcoin goes up, Bonk will go up. And so will the other altcoins. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there, guys. It was good chatting with you guys. You guys were, I appreciate you guys coming out here and checking out the live stream. Yeah, I plan on doing another live stream on Thursday. That would be what, 25th, April 25th. So if you guys can come out for that live stream, we'll see what these cryptocurrencies have done on that time there. And yeah, we will discuss what the events and news is for that day, and see what the cryptocurrencies, if there's any interesting action going on there. And yeah, I plan on doing that live stream probably around like 6 p.m., maybe earlier than that, for Thursday. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming to this live stream here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the like button so we can get more people to see these live streams here. Okay, it helps me out on the YouTube algorithm. If you guys click that like button, it lets YouTube know, like, hey, this guy actually has some good information. Maybe we should show this video to other people on YouTube as well. Okay. All right, guys. That's it for today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Okay. Take care.